Hi, friends. Welcome back. Today is Chapter 9, Lesson 5 of Shurley English. We have been talking about how to code and edit quotations, and today we're going to talk about dialogue. But first, I want you to try out the 3 practice sentences for this lesson. Pause the video now, try the sentences, and then come back and check your answers with mine. I'll see you soon. All right, you should have paused the video and you should already have your sentences coded. We are going to go over the answers together. So sentence number 1, does that stack of magazines belong to Grandpa? All right, so we are going to look for prepositions. So we have of what? Magazines, object of the preposition, and to. To who? Grandpa, object of the preposition. What is the subject of the sentence? What belongs to Grandpa? Stack, subject noun. What is being said about the stack? What is the verb? Belong. Does is the helping verb. That is describing which stack. So it's an adjective. Where should we divide our sentence? Where should I draw the line? Right before the main verb. So right before belong. Remember, the helping verb goes with the verb. So the subject is that stack of magazines. The predicate is does belong to Grandpa. This is an interrogative sentence and it follows subject, noun, verb, pattern 1. Great job. Sentence number 2, after the weekend, several piles of laundry lay on the floor. Lots of prepositions in this sentence. I hope you found them all. So we have after what? Weekend, object of the preposition, the article adjective. Of is a preposition. Of what? Laundry, object of the preposition. And on. On what? Floor, object of the preposition. The article adjective. What is the subject of the sentence? What lays on the floor? Piles, subject noun. What is the verb? What is the action? Lay. And several tells how many piles. It describes a noun, so it is an adjective. Where do we draw the line? There's no helping verbs. So we go right before the verb. But after the weekend is talking about when the piles lay. So the subject is several piles of laundry. The predicate is lay on the floor after the weekend. So we're kind of split there. The subject comes in the middle of the sentence. This is a period statement declarative sentence and subject noun verb pattern 1. How did you do? Great. All right, we have one more sentence to go over. Drive very carefully on your way to our house for the holidays. Looking for prepositions. On what? Way, object of the preposition. Whose way? Your, possessive pronoun adjective. To is a preposition. To what? House, object of the preposition. Whose house? Our, possessive pronoun adjective. And for is a preposition. For what? Holidays, object of the preposition. The article adjective. So who is driving? What is the subject? It's you. So we have to write you up here in parentheses, and that is the subject pronoun. You do what? What's the verb? What's the action? Drive. Drive how? Carefully. Adverb. How carefully? Very. Adverb. Where should I draw the line? Right before the verb. The subject is you. The whole sentence is the predicate. Drive very carefully on your way to our house for the holidays. This is a command, period, command, imperative sentence, IMP. Subject, noun, verb, pattern 1. All right, I hope that you took some time to change your answers from the first time. This is a completion grade, so I'll just check to make sure that you did correct everything. So we've been talking about quotations, and we've talked about having the introductory words at the beginning. We've talked about having the introductory words at the end. Today, we are going to do a guided practice together, and this has some dialogue. We have a few different people talking, and so this sounds more like a story instead of just separate sentences like we've been doing. And so one thing to remember, we're going to code these and label them, edit them, whatever you want to call it. We're going to do the same thing that we have been doing. We're going to find the introductory words, underline them, put our quotes and capitalize letters. But the only thing that I want you to pay attention to is that every time someone new starts talking, we start a new line. Okay? We don't continue the story, we start a new line. So this makes it look very long, but it's just because two people are talking back and forth. Okay? So let's go through and we're going to go line by line. We're going to go by who's talking. Okay? So we have in the first line, Tim, did we get our birthday cards from Grandma? Asked Kim. What are the introductory words? Asked Kim. Very good. The explanatory words are asked Kim. So we underline that. That means the quote is, Tim, did we get our birthday cards from Grandma? Now, that is a question. Asked Kim. So we're going to end with a question mark inside the quotations. And then at the end of the sentence, we'll put a period. Now let's go through and see what words we need to capitalize. I know the name Tim needs capitalized. Grandma needs capitalized. And Kim. Okay. Now there's one more thing that we need to add before we are finished with the first line. Who is Kim talking to? Is Kim talking to Grandma or Tim? Kim is talking to Tim. So she's trying to get his attention. Tim, did we get our birthday cards from Grandma? So she pauses just for a second. So Tim, comma, did we get our birthday cards from Grandma? Asked Kim. So now on the next line, Kim has stopped talking. Now it's someone new. Tim replied, no, and I was sure they would come today. What are the explanatory words? Who's talking now? Tim is talking. Tim replied. So now the explanatory words are at the beginning of the sentence. So we'll put a comma and then start the quote. Now, how do you think he said this? Do you think he said, no, and I was sure they would come today? Or do you think he maybe said it more like this? No, and I was sure they would come today. probably more like excited. So I'm going to end with an exclamation point inside the quotation marks. So let's go back and add capital letters. Again, Tim is the name. So we capitalize the T. Once we've started our quote, we are going to capitalize N for no. We need to capitalize the pronoun I always. And that's it. Now there's one more thing that we need to add to this sentence. Again, Tim kind of pauses. Listen to how I read this and see where would you put the comma. Tim replied, "No, and I was sure they would come today." After no, right? So he's saying the first answer. He's saying no, and then he adds an explanation. So we're going to add a comma after no. All right, now, so we're going to a new line. That means Tim's done talking. This line says, Kim grumbled, "It's not like Grandma to miss our birthday." Who's talking now? Kim. What are the explanatory words? Kim grumbled. So again, this is a beginning explanatory word. So the ending quote. All right, so we put a comma and start our quote. And then the quote goes all the way to the end. And how do you think she was talking if she grumbled? She's kind of mad, right? Like Grandma maybe missed their birthday. So I would say another exclamation point. It's not like Grandma to miss our birthday. Make sure your exclamation point goes before the quotation marks. So let's go through and add capital letters now. Kim's name needs capitalized. The beginning word of the quote needs capitalized, so we're going to capitalize its. Grandma is the name. Grandma needs capitalized. Kim grumbled, "It's not like Grandma to miss our birthday." We need one more thing. There's one more mistake. It's not a comma this time. Do you see a contraction? It's right. We need an apostrophe in its. I'm going to actually just rewrite it because I ran out of room. So I'm going to write its. New line. Somebody's going to talk again. A familiar voice said, "Well, I think I'm better than a birthday card, but I have those too." Who is talking now? Is it Tim or Kim? It says a familiar voice. A familiar voice said. Those are the explanatory words. So we're ending with the quote. So put a comma, start your quote. "Well, I think I'm better than a birthday card, but I have those too." Do you know what's happening here? I'm going to end with another exclamation mark and then end your quote. Let's go through and add capital letters. So beginning of the sentence, A needs capitalized. The beginning word of the quote needs capitalized. The pronoun I needs capitalized. This is a contraction. It says I'm, so I'm going to write I'm and go ahead and add the apostrophe and another pronoun I. Now let's go through because there are some more punctuation marks we need to add. So listen how I say this. A familiar voice said, "Well, I think I'm better than a birthday card, but I have those too." So there was a pause after well. That's kind of like the introduction, kind of the attention grabber. "Well, I think I'm better than a birthday card, but I have those too." And now we skip down another line. Kim and Tim squealed and shouted, Grandma, then the twins ran to give her a big hug. Oh boy. Who's talking now? Kim and Tim, right? They squealed and shouted. And what did they say? They only said grandma. Grandma! They didn't say then the twins ran to give her a big hug. They only said grandma. So we're going to put a comma, start the quote. They shouted, so it's an exclamation point, and that's all they said. All they said was grandma. So now let's go back and find capital letters. This is more than the twins ran to give her a big hug. That's more explanatory words, but we don't need to underline that. We've already found the quote, okay? So we're going to capitalize the word Kim, Tim, grandma, and then is starting a new sentence. Then the twins ran to give her a big hug. End the sentence with a period. Then the twins ran to give her a big hug. So we're kind of taking everything that we've worked on this week and putting it all together to make like a story, more dialogue, okay? So just take some time. Remember to still underline your explanatory words. That's really helpful in trying to find where the quote is. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.